What a week. TPNX 2026. If you know, you know. If you don't, I'm going to tell you why TPNX 2027 is where you need to be and how we're trying to do that all year long at the Pilot Network. Hey, everybody, it's Adam. I'm back again. Whew. Tired. That's for sure. It's interesting when you are working through so many different things in your life and you have something that comes together that brings it all together, like TPNX 2026 in Dallas. What an event. We had American Airlines, Southwest, and Flexjet headlining. We had new partners there like Nicholas Air, Wizz Air from the UK showing up, old friends from Envoy and GoJet swinging by, our contracting buddies at Matreya, our friends at High Country Air Service, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. The vendors were amazing. The attendees were amazing. The volunteers are out of this world. Our great team at Serendipity and Company who did the lion's share of the legwork were fantastic. It was a bummer that Matt, TPN's co-founder, had to miss it because of military duty that he was doing. So he couldn't be there. I was there as much as I could be. Limited state, still trying to figure out what's going on with me medically, but I was able to handle myself pretty well, if not exhausted for 4 days afterwards. But anyways, that is besides the point. I wanted to give you some hard data and some numbers. So when you're planning your May of 2027, you can plan on being at TPNX. And the reason why is we are really good friends with the affinity groups out there, OLBAP, NGPA, Women in Aviation, PAPA, LPA, and our friends at Pre-Flight Camp as well. And they have different conferences, bigger conferences. I forgot that there are RTIG in there as well, but they're bigger conferences. And those conferences are really cool and unique and deliver a different opportunity or environment or experience than TPNX does, which is awesome. We need all this stuff in our aviation community. The fun part for us is to be able to deliver something that's more niche, a little smaller, more unique. In fact, I think this year we actually had to raise our ticket numbers because of what happened with Spirit or the amount of people we could let in. So we were sold out essentially, but we had to kind of change that model a little bit after what happened with our brothers and sisters at Spirit Airlines. And I'll get into that here in a minute or two. So let's kind of run through it. TPNX is the Pilot Network Experience Conference Expo, whatever you want to call it. The X is for whatever you want to make it out to be. I think it's, we like the TEDx logo, so we kind of threw the X on there a while ago. And now it just looks cool, so we're keeping it. The idea has been when we started this conference essentially in 2018 and then revamped it in 2022 is of a more tailored feel or a smaller feel, more intimate feel, more casual feel, no shirts or no suits and ties. We still had some people that were trying to figure that out and were really worried that that was going to cause them a problem. It's not. The people there understand that that's what we do. And I think that's what they like about us too, I hope. This year was different because we moved it again and we knew that Matt wasn't going to be there. So it was on May 6th and 7th with an event sponsored by Flexjet on May 5th, which was a lot of fun. And we had the actual conference event starting May 6th at about 9 in the morning, running till 6, and then more of a half day on Thursday. So it's an easy conference for kind of in and out. You don't have to be there all day. In fact, one of the big things I'm going to start kind of harping on now is you don't have to buy tickets to both days unless you really want to. You'll be able to see everything in a very short period of time. The networking piece is what's really important. And that's why a lot of people come for both days, because of the opportunity to meet new people and integrate them into their career and personal lives as they move forward. It's not just a traditional job fair. In fact, I would say it's the antithesis of a traditional job fair, which gives you probably a higher return on your investment when you're there. We got a lot of really great feedback from not only the vendors and recruiting individuals who are there, but the actual attendees. Some saying charge double, you guys offer the most unique experience, blah, 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 all that great stuff. It was amazing. Um, and we probably were going to have to raise our price a little bit just because have gone up. It's something that we're in talks. We're always in talks about TPNX, it seems. Uh, in the mornings, so when we start in the morning on the first day of the conference, I normally give a spiel in the beginning about opening your aperture. It was actually not my best microphone work I've ever done before. I forgot to thank all the spouses that come because spouses are not allowed to attend. They're encouraged. We like family members being there. We had some kids running around. It's great. It's actually the spouses generally when they go to a meet and greet with the pilot tend to ask the more important questions that the pilot kind of misses out on. And when you are in a relationship of that importance, it is critical to give the majority of the decision-making capability up to the person who's going to be most affected. And that normally is the person who's manning the home front. So just food for thought for you younger pilots out there or people who are in that phase of your life, especially military transition folks. Uh, Credence is one thing, but actually letting somebody else kind of take the wheel and help you make the decision is really important. It helped me, and I'm sure it will help you as well. Anyways, aside from that, so I give this little spiel, which was not great, but I hope I got my message across. And then we open the doors and off everybody goes to do one-on-one meet and greets, chats with the recruiters, the vendors, so on and so forth, and really network with one another. And that's truly what is unique about it. I'm hoping that we'll have all the pictures and B-roll footage up and about in the interwide world webs so people can see kind of what was going on at TPNX and what we're trying to do for the pilot community that is hopefully a little different. So with that said, we'll get into some of the numbers of both days because day two is a mirror image of day one. And get into some personal stories that I have too. So total event attendance was roughly 800 to 1,000. Those numbers are varied because we had an opportunity to open the doors to our friends at Spirit Airlines who unfortunately had their airline close on that Saturday before TPNX. It was not my idea. I wish I was smart enough and I guess empathetic enough to create something like this in my head. We got an email from a captain at American Airlines who offered to buy several tickets for his friends at Spirit who lived in the DFW area. And it clicked with me that no, I won't let you do that because we're going to make it free for all the Spirit pilots. We're trying to take that pay it forward mentality and put our money where our mouths is. Our mouths are. One thing that you need to know is TPN is a for-profit organization, even though we don't really make a profit. So all the money kind of goes back into the pilot network, especially the conference and stuff like that for now. One day it'd be cool to maybe take a salary, but that's not the primary driver of why Matt and I have been doing this for so long. It's to really feel that intangible benefit of watching people get helped and knowing that when you give, you will get something in return and not really knowing what that is in the future, money or otherwise. It doesn't really matter. When my 9-year-old daughter said to me, Dad, I'm going to miss you going on your trip, but I know that you're going to help people. That was more important than any dollar sign can ever really be attached to what we're doing. So hopefully maybe one day, but not today. And that's fine. So now for what you've been waiting for, the hard numbers. So 800 to 1,000. We had 180 pilots attend. Almost all of them got an opportunity to meet with either American or Southwest because American decided last minute because of a huge influx on the Spirit attendees and tickets that were purchased at the very end when we basically had to stop. The American Airlines group decided to bring in double the amount of recruiters, which was incredible. I don't know how they did it, and I don't know how they even fit in the space, but they did an amazing job. Shout out to that whole team. Southwest did something similar, and we're able to meet with essentially all the Spirit pilots that wanted to meet with them. Shout out to the Southwest team, and a shout out to the Flexjet team for essentially following suit and doing the same thing and being overwhelmed by all the Spirit pilots that showed up in the room. And in a real heartfelt thank you to the Spirit pilots for taking advantage of TPNX, not just for the possibility of a job, but just getting off the couch. Because I too know, like, I've never been in that situation, but I've been in a situation where I didn't think I was going to have an opportunity to continue my career. And it's very upsetting. It's very disappointing. It's very depressing to the point where you don't really want to start anew. And so those 180 that showed up, they, I mean, that was only a couple of days. They just, I guess, pulled themselves up by the bootstraps and said, you know what, I got to get after this right now. And early bird gets the worm, all those cliches. So kudos to them for doing that. They showed out, and their support of each other and the support that the network that was at TPNX gave them was truly something to behold. So I commend everybody that was there for supporting their fellow brothers and sisters at Spirit. And my guess is that only the best is in store for all of them because of the hard work that they put in the past and the fact that they're willing to go forward and crush it now. And for all those who weren't able to make it, I know that the future may look a little cloudy now, but just keep plugging along, take the opportunities when they come, and you will find your niche and where you belong in no time. You're highly qualified, highly experienced. It's going to be pretty cool. It was really cool to be able to finally, instead of just have kind words for somebody, be able to actually put those kind words into action. So thank you for letting Matt and I do that for you, because that was really, really cool for us. Okay, let's get into some other stuff here. Flexjet. Um, uh, I cannot thank them enough because they were able to give us data points right away, and it was really cool that. And this is a quote: "Most successful event we've had all year, and year after year, the most successful event for qualified pilots." That is just fantastic. Uh, to to distill that down, they had 256 registered folks come to their recruitment booth to do meet and greets. 225 of them showed, which could have been doubles. I don't really know that, but that's whatever. It's still pretty good. 177 of them were evaluated, and 21 of them got immediate invites to either interview or go into their sim interview check, from what I understand. Um, Might need to clarify that, so we'll see, but, the percentages there are, 88% of a registered to attend to show rate, which is pretty cool, and that's kinda more for, like, the other operators out there that might be interested or don't really know what TPNX is, the the actual percentages of who registered to see Flexjet and then who actually showed up, which, I think is pretty good. And then 79% of the attended to evaluated conversion, which is, I think just speaks volumes about the type of people that are in the pilot network and the type of people that support each other to go do this kind of stuff. It's not just about what's on the paper. It's also about the person. And that's really why I'm so excited about doing this next year, even though it's going to be a real challenge for a host of reasons. And we could get into that if you write us at heyguys@thepilotnetwork.com. Happy to give you a detailed description via email of what I mean there. And if you want to support TPN in any way possible, there's a host of things that we're going to talk about to make sure that TPNX 2027 happens and to make sure that we're giving you the value that you need to not only prosper professionally, but personally, because our lives go far beyond the flight deck. And I think that that is something that we all need to really focus on, because we're professional aviators. We're great. We're really good at our jobs. we need to focus on what's going on off the flight deck to sometimes make us even better at our profession. So, a couple other fun facts that were going on at TPN. Um, one of our smaller recruiters, like single man operation, High Country Air Service, Dave Hessern, who is a good friend of TPN and TPNX. He's been there since the very beginning. He he sent me a text, and the text was really cool, and it kind of was the embodiment of what TPNX is for him and what it's turned into me for me too. Is she had a individual who was a Coast Guard pilot who came up and looking to do the SkillBridge program. If you're not familiar with that, SkillBridge is essentially a military transition program for an individual to complete some of their military commitment while they're working in a civilian capacity as they bridge their skill set from the military to civilian life. Pretty cool program. I'm not like really versed on it. I just know the basics of it. If you want to know more, actually, David High Country is a great resource for that. Also, our friends over at Spitfire, Nick Fialka, he knows quite a bit about SkillBridge too, I believe. So reach out to those guys. They can walk you through a lot of that. But Dave told me this Coastie had essentially exactly what he was looking for in a pilot to do SkillBridge, and he wanted to go and fly over the high country in New Mexico. That was something that he really wanted to be part of. It was a match made in heaven, and they would probably have never found each other in that quickly of a time period without TPNX. And that was overwhelmingly stated to me by attendees, the recruitment teams in the house, some of the vendors and who they met as well. I think a couple other things was seeing the stacks of resumes on the different carriers' tables was just astonishing. To the niche like Matreya, who does government contracting in ISR, government or airborne firefighting, and tanker operations. They've given me some mind-blowing statistics, which they're not quite cleared for release yet until we get the information, but it's really staggering to me how many qualified pilots were able to show out and show them their interest level. And beyond their interest level, just the fact that they were excited about differing opportunities, which is something that I find to be really cool and almost a unique shift from the 121 community. I think we all know that 121 flying is going to be there, and the hiring is pretty aggressive and explosive right now, which is a good thing for the entire industry. It makes everything move up. But if you're not quite to that level yet, or you're seeking a different path, or if you're leaving the 121 world, there are other amazing options that are out there and stuff that you can continually get excited about and maybe find a unique or different career path than what is the common path. Also, if you're going to do some of these other different avenues before you reach a 121 carrier, the quality of hour, the quality of experience, and the quality of the network that you will achieve will only expand. I know this simply because I was kind of forced into that world unknowingly. And I'm so glad that I did it having flown contract work. If you've heard this podcast before, and at Atlas, I got to meet so many more people and also experiencing something which made me, I feel, more experienced as an aviator, but as a professional, so I could handle situations with a little bit more grace and definitely with a lot more composure than had I just gone straight military to 121. And I'm able to give back, I think, more to my aviation counterparts, both in the cockpit and like in this platform here, because of my experiences prior to flying where I fly now. That to me is invaluable. It may not be to you. I totally understand if it's not, but to me it was invaluable. And if you're younger, going to be able to do that stuff while you're young, those are the best times to knock that out. Plus, there's some money in that too. There's money in some of those worlds that you can't necessarily make at that age unless you're willing to do that kind of work. Because sometimes that work's a little bit more challenging. So seeing them have a stack of resumes that's going to do wonders for their hiring prospectus in the next 2 years is pretty amazing. Another really amazing success story, like this was the one that blew me away, was Wizz Air from the UK came to TPNX. And I remember chatting with the guys and thanking them for taking a chance on coming to a job fair in the United States, uh, and explaining how it wasn't just a traditional job fair, networking conference, all this good stuff. What was fascinating was talking to them to the guys at the end of the conference and only being able to really get a word in once or twice because their booth was constantly uh, being attended by whether it was interested pilots interested in flying or just kind of curiosity. Was the way they had set their stuff up was an assessment program where they were going to assess pilots that swung by their booth throughout the rest of the weekend before they returned back home. And they said they had essentially filled up their assessment sheet. They had left one or two spots open because they were going to have another day at the hotel where they were going to meet some pilots who couldn't show up to the conference. That was staggering to me. Like, that's amazing that the reach is that big and that people are able to, again, open their aperture and see opportunities that other folks may not see and try something else out. Plus, I know lots of my friends from the past and even present who would love to live over in the UK for a couple of years and fly. Or who have spouses, military, whatever it was, that would work for them. That's pretty cool. Like, never expected that. Never expected that in a million years. And then seeing some of the vendors and the way they were able to feed off of that energy that was in the room. It was a very special 2 days for me. The DJ, we have a DJ who is playing music in the background, which actually breaks up that kind of awkward silence that can happen sometimes between conversations. Um, she did a great job. DJ Glow Pop, you know who you are. Everybody who's listening to this who is there knows who she is, and she crushed it. We had some cooler experiential things with massages and like the chair massages from the airport. We're trying to grow that. We want to expand that. Anybody who knows anybody at Redbird Simulators, let them know we want them next year to be our experiential place. We have a perfect spot for them in the same conference center. We're looking to grow into more unique and dialed down, some niche down communities to bring them out to let them experience TPNX, because we're taking TPNX offline. Or wait, it is offline. We're taking it online in a way, manner of speaking. Consider this the soft launch for TPN Talent. So you can go right now as you're listening to this, TPNTalent.com, upload your resume. It'll take about 3 minutes to do this all. It parses your resume, it analyzes it, and it will spit back a profile that will be stored in our TPN Talent roster. And that roster is not, there's no dashboard. You don't have to go in. There's no login codes. There's none of that stuff. It's protected as best as we can do it security wise. And the data will never be sold to anybody. It's free for you, and you can update that profile whenever you want to. But to update it, you simply go back in, hit my profile. It'll send you a link, and you type in your new hours or ratings or whatever. You hit save, and it's there. Now, what does this roster do for you? Well, that roster is essentially folks who came to TPNX recruiting you now can do this 24/7, 365, and reach out to you. Think of it as a facilitation model for pilots and recruiters to come together, but passive on the pilot side. It's something that I always like. When we started this idea a couple years back, it didn't make sense. We didn't really know how to make it work. We think we have a good model now. It'll get deeper in explanation as we start to execute on it. But the goal right now is to get those faithful 1,000 true fans of TPN and who were at TPNX to sign up and create our 1,000 first on TPN Talent. The first 1,000 on TPN Talent are going to move the needle. That's what's going to bring the operators that the community wants to see into town. It's free for pilots now. It'll be free always. We might add on some stuff later that you can buy premium, blah, 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 blah. But as of right now, there is none of that, and there's no need for any of it. The idea here is to bring in the most experienced and highest grade of aviator so we can go to the operators in the community and say, hey, we're not going to charge you a ton of money, but we're going to give you access for essentially a nominal fee in recruitment to these amazing human beings that make up the pilot network. That's our goal. I want so much to see it succeed because this will drive the growth and further high quality experience of TPNX and the stuff that we want to do going forward. If you're not a member of a TPN chapter, those are growing all over the world. Yeah, all over the world. But right now in the continental United States and Puerto Rico, we want more chapters. We want more people to meet up offline and in person, talking about stuff that really matters to them personally and professionally, and just having a good time, meeting more people in the community who are not exactly like them. They're not pilots in the military together. They're not at the 121 carrier together, that they can bring together those cross-cultural experiences so we don't have a monoculture cockpit any longer. And we've moved beyond that a little bit anyways, but this also creates a professional stability that can make us better pilots than we already are as things change and shift, especially with technology and all that good stuff. So take a look. You can find all of this on thepilotnetwork.com. You can check our socials. It's on there. We send out an email with the hanger flies that are associated with the chapters. That's the chapter meetups, hanger flies, once a month before we have them, normally a week or two prior. And then we post them throughout a lot of our social channels. So you can check that out as well. If you're interested in becoming more connected with TPN and our premium group, you can go to TPN Pro. Go to thepilotnetwork.com, click on TPN Pro. You can sign up there and then follow us on our socials as well. Join the email list. There's lots going on, and TPN Talent is what we're trying to utilize to give value back to the pilot community and help them find those other paths that are not necessarily in their wheelhouse or something they've been thinking about for now. There's more to come, a lot more to come on that. We've got kind of a roadmap and a game plan to reach out far in the future with talent. So with all that said, check out all that other stuff. If you have any questions about any of this, hit us up at heyguys@thepilotnetwork.com, slide into the DMs anywhere you can. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help. If you're going through, I've talked to some people going through some stuff too. And I want to hear, I want to help. It's what I care most about in my personal life is supporting the people that have supported me throughout my journey in aviation. So we can all be effective, safe pilots. And when we come home to our families, we can be effective, productive, compassionate human beings and live a pretty darn good life. All right. Enough positivity for the day or whatever the case might be. I hope this finds you really well. I hope that if you were at TPNX, that it was everything that you wanted it to be. And I look forward to what TPN can do for the pilot community, because this is really your network. All I do is try to take care of it. And all Matt does is try to take care of it. So you can go out and utilize what TPN is for yourself and what you can do to pay it forward to all the other members of our awesome aviation community. All right. So with that said, hey guys, at thepilotnetwork.com, if you have questions, and of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, keep the shiny side up, the greasy side down. Fly safe, everybody.